Hey everyone, it's Chaos World here. I have Adriana with me, and I'm going to do the How It All Began tag by, oh shoot, I wrote it down, Dem BJDs, or Dems BJDs. Sorry if I butchered that. So question number 1 is, how did you find out about BJDs? So I used to collect various dolls, and which I'll get into a bit later. And I was watching, it started like when I was watching pull-up MVs on YouTube, back before YouTube was huge. And I was just watching those, and somebody did a BJD MV, and I was like, what's that? So I clicked it, and I saw like the BJDs in the video, and I really liked it. So I just started from there, and that's how I found out about them. YouTube. Number 2, what was your first reaction when you saw a BJD? My first reaction was, wow, they're so realistic and beautiful, and I want one. I went online and looked up BJDs as well, and I got taken to the Lutz website, and I saw the pricing, and I was like, oh my god, they're so beautiful, but so expensive. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford that. That was my first reaction. They're beautiful and beyond expensive. 3, how did you decide to start collecting BJDs? So I didn't think, as I said, I didn't think I could ever really afford the BJDs. So I started like getting into it, not having my first doll, but I was like into the hobby when I was 15. So I was watching like some YouTubers who aren't on yet, but like when Ann Porcaro used to post a lot more videos, I would watch those. I watched Denali Wynn and Sarah Beheading and Shelby and Winnie BJD. I could like go for a while. Like I watched a bunch of people, and I just drooled and admired over their dolls and what they did with them. But I was like, I could never afford it. I got my first job when I was 16 for the summer, and I bought some pull-ups because that's what I was in at the time, because they're a lot more affordable. Like for a 16-year-old is what I'm talking about. They're a lot more affordable for sure. So I was getting into that, and I bought 4, and the total of the 4 came up to, I think, a little bit over 200. And then I thought to myself, you know what? Yeah, I got 4 pull-ups, but I could use that 200 to maybe put towards getting a BJD. So I waited till I got one of my paychecks, and then I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna buy it all. And that's what happened. Number 4, did you collect other dolls before? Yes, I did. I've always collected, like, since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I collected Barbies, and I think I had 100 Barbies before, and I slowly picked off my crew, gave them away to like Goodwill, etc. So I let go of my Barbie crew. I did have a couple of Bratz, and I refused to let them go. So I kept my Bratz, and then as I got older, I got back into Bratz again, started collecting Bratz, and I never got to anything else until I got into pull-ups for about a year. I'd say a year, I think. I got into pull-ups and then got to BJDs and stayed there. Number 5, who was your first doll? This girl right here, Adriana. So she's my first doll, but she was not my intended first doll. So this is going to tie into the next question. She was not my intended first doll. I wanted, I don't know if it was a doll love, but I wanted a Cecilia, and she was like a vampire sculpt, and that's the doll I was looking at, but she was too expensive, because I mentioned how I had like $200-ish that I wanted to spend, and like I didn't have any guidance or anything about where to buy dolls, so I didn't know about Rosa Soul or any of that stuff. So I was just on eBay, because that's all I knew, to looking at dolls. And if you've shopped around or been around for a while, you know eBay dolls are sometimes a bit more expensive than they need to be. I really wanted her, and I had like this whole story in my mind about what I was going to do with this doll. And then there was a sale on the eBay website that I was following, and she was not on sale. She was on sale, and like I was not like what people would be like, oh, just save for the doll you want. Like, and I was 16. That's not how it went. Like, if I had money when I was 16, I had money to burn, and I was gonna burn it. On sale, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get her because she was in my price range. At the time, the Canadian dollar wasn't so trash, so when it converted, I could afford her, and I was very happy. So I got her, and that's what happened. So question number 7 is, what was your first reaction when you first saw your first doll? So I hated her. I hated her the first time I got her. I didn't do enough research, which is my bad, but like, whatever. I thought, because I knew she wasn't going to come with clothes, but in the description it said she came with a wig and eyes, so I thought she would come with the wig and eyes shown in the picture. It didn't say random wig or random eyes, it just says comes with wigs and eyes. So that's what I thought was she was gonna come with, and I basically, when I bought her, I put in the message that I just want, because they're like, what skin tone do you want? I didn't understand the skin tone thing, what the coloring, resin colors. I just said I want whatever's in the picture, and they're like, okay, so white skin it is. And yeah, I got her. She came in this hideous, I should have brought it over, I still have it to this day, this really, really ugly yellow wig. If I can find a picture, I'm gonna put it in here. This horrible yellow wig that it was just so terrible. Horrible yellow wig. These purple eyes that I was not really fond of. They made her look really, really sad. Like, she just has, to me, a sad expression, but the eyes just made her look even more sad. So there was that, and then she was like almost paperweight, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So I took her out, and she had like her little panties and socks. I took a couple pictures because I'm like, oh, my first BJD, and woo. I think I want to do a box opening video, but like my expression when I opened her was just so like, oh, that I just didn't bother posting it. So yeah, I didn't like her. That was my first reaction to her. I didn't like her at all. I put her back in my her box, and I didn't open her. I didn't take her out again for a year, and that's how it went. Number 8. Who was / is your first Grail doll? So I'm gonna move her because I got some other dolls with me. Ta-da! Her hair is a hot mess. This is Arakai, and she is a dreaming doll. I think Irie. Sorry if I said that wrong, but that's who my very first Grail was. As I said, I was really young when I got into the hobby. I did not have a lot of money come by to me. I only had a summer job because I didn't work when I was in school because it was just too much for me to do both. I've always looked at her, and every time I saw pictures of her, because I followed someone with her sculpt, and I was just like so in love with this doll. And when I looked on the website, I was like, there's absolutely no way I can afford this. There's like, I could barely afford my other dolls, because I had more dolls. I had found Resin Soul and stuff by that point, but she was more expensive than Resin Soul, and Resin Soul was basically my price range. So I was like, okay, I'm not really, probably never gonna be able to get her. And then the person I followed put her up for sale because they were having some kind of personal emergency, and they had her up for sale, and I had exactly, with the shipping, exactly enough money on the dot to get her. And like, I even wrote it down in my journal. Like, I was basically, when I bought her, I was like basically bawling. I was so happy that I got her, and when I opened her, I was just so happy. I was just happy. Number 9, which doll was the first doll that got the first BJD face up you ever did? I also have her here. Here she is with her little piercings. This is not the first face up I've ever done. This is Maybelle. She's Resident Soul May, and she was the first doll who got my very first face up, and I destroyed her. You can't tell, but yeah, she was my guinea pig for body blushing. That has come off now because I didn't do it correctly. I didn't do things correctly. But she had my very first face up I was not happy with. I think on my Instagram I posted, if I can find it, I'll try to put it in here, but I doubt it. It was a really long time ago. But I was trying to do kind of like what she has here, where it's kind of extended here, and then like a cat eye a little bit, and it just didn't look good. So I wiped it, and then I did another face up. The second time went way better than the first, and I got a face up that I liked. And I had that for a really long time, but I just didn't feel like it was right, because the other face up I did, she didn't have these features that I told you I was trying to do, and her scarring wasn't dark enough for me, and her brows are better. Her first set of brows were really, really bad, and also I've improved since this face up. So if you're thinking this is complete trash, well, I have improved it a little bit. And like I damaged her trying to take off previous, and I didn't spray her correctly, so she does have some. The first time I did it, I didn't listen to how you're supposed to do spraying, and I did it on like during a heat wave, so things just got warped and effed up. But the second face up, it was a better day, and yeah, I eventually did this face up, which she's been wearing for a very, very long time, and it's held up very well. So there's that. Number 10, would you do this all over again? Absolutely. I love my dolls so much, and I'm so happy I have them. Yeah, I'll do it all again for sure. I definitely like them, and I more than like them, I love them. I do it all again, guys. So that is basically, those are all the questions. And thanks for stopping in, and I hope you liked it, guys. Till the next time. Bye.